Oopity doopity doop. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. All right, and so we're just live. Is that how this works now? Okay, you would think I would know how this works now. Clearly, I don't. Okay, let's get to doing things. So let's start with the tower, because currently you can't make the tower, which is a problem, because I call it a tower defense game, but then I don't let you make a tower. That's not cool. So I had an idea. It might be a good idea. It might be a horrible idea. I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. I'm gonna use a table to store the cost of items. Quiet queue. Hey, welcome back. So the table will be in the order of food, lumber, stone, metal, which, yes, is not alphabetic, because alphabetic would be food, lumber, metal, stone, because M comes before S. But metal is the most rarest. Maybe not the most rarest. It is the most rarest. It's also the most valuable. And food being the least valuable? Not really, no. I don't know. That's just the order it's going in. So lumber, I don't even remember what I said this was going to cost. Does it really matter? It probably doesn't, but I'm going to take a peek anyways. 50 lumber and 100 stone. Okay. So it'll be 50, comma, 0 food, 100 stone. Oops, I have to put a comma in here. Comma, not an M. And then 0 metal. Now, my hope is that this works. Right, so we have this. So I just need to add this real quick to the 2 logging camps. I just need to change the pricing list here. So 100 lumber, 0 food, 25 stone. And then we can eliminate that and come down here. And it's 200 lumber and 50 stone. And, oh, there's not a comma behind that. Oops. Well, why wasn't I copying that with the comma behind it? That means there's probably also an error up in this one. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes. Not a period. I need a comma. Thank you very much. Oh, tombstones. Yeah, we got to get to that. Okay, so this is the new cost. So then, if I go to the player inventory. Nope, not the player. I need the player inventory. Is that open someplace? It does not look like it. Also, why is logging open on both? I don't understand this thing sometimes. Player inventory. That's one of these. Oh, do I need to make this a little bit bigger? I don't know. I don't think I made it smaller yesterday. I have player. Oh, it's inventory pages. That would probably explain why I couldn't find it. Okay, so then here, when we're pulling in cost, that is correct, but the cost needs to be done differently. First, I need to make sure that this even works. So we'll just do that, and we will spin up the game here and see cost 50, cost 200. Oh, evidently the base does not have a cost, so I'll have to add one into that quick. That would be important if I'm going to have it available. It's 1,000 of each, so that one's pretty easy. 1,000. I actually don't know how this will even work. As explained before, if you can make multiple bases, then how do I know if that was your only base existing that the goblins destroyed? I don't know. So that's obviously no bueno. Okay, so this is working. So the solution to the pollution, not the solution to the pollution. What I actually wanted to do is just make this bigger, but not full screen. I'll just leave it full screen. I can just alt tab to other windows. That shouldn't be a problemo. So I think I might need to change this from a text area to a hypertext. Let me just see what the old hypertext says here. Hypertext. Can I put markup language? Tried downloading the mod, but the page didn't load for 10 minutes. From time to time, it's working right now. From time to time, not a bug does experience some downtime. I don't host the website, so I couldn't tell you why. But every once in a while, it does have some issues. But it's up and running right now, so you would give her another shot. You can't make the towers right now. Let me actually do that real quick. I want to get that done today. I don't know how much time I'm really gonna have. We have a family event this evening, so hence why it's a little sooner of a stream than normal. I could upload to GitHub, but I don't use GitHub anymore. Well, that's not true. I do use GitHub, but I don't put any of my new code on GitHub because Microsoft owns GitHub, and I don't like Microsoft, so I'm hosting my own code on a different platform, but I still use GitHub just to follow other projects that are on GitHub. Yeah, this actually isn't where I want to be. I need to go to the inventory pages. And we need to add the tower to this doodad. So that would just be tower. I don't believe I did tower _1. So this should be visible now in player inventory. Hey, look at that. It's pretty snazzy. It's a little dark though. What? But no. Line 99 of the inventory. That doesn't even seem right. Register on player receive fields is throwing an error? Nah, that's not. In function tab 3. Huh? What? No. No. I was clicking on the base. What has happened to break the base? Oh, it's the wall. Oh, the walls, of course. Yeah, I guess I do need to put the updated wall cost in. _ cost equals a table. Lumber, food, stone, metal. There we go. Oh, and I need the comma behind it. You know, having the microphone in front of my face, I can't see my keyboard. It's kind of annoying a little bit. All right, so that'll be fixed. So now I need to go to inventory pages. Except I'm not actually going to use this. I have found a new system. Potentially. I'm thinking of a new system so I don't have to do all of this every time. Which is part of the reason for the new costing system. But yeah, let me get back to checking the hypertext here. Because I feel like I can change different sizes by using tags, which if I can. Blah, 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 font size. Following tags are either normal tags for text layout defined by default. Other tags can be defined by tag. So if I do, yes. So let's just try this really quick. Can I just change from a text area to hypertext? Do they both need the same layout? I don't know. I think so. Hypertext, where are you at? And then we'll get to the tombstone. Hypertext and text area. You need XY, width and height, a name, and the text. So there's no label in a text area. So we have the width, the height, we have all that stuff. We have the name, which there is no name. There is no label. I'm not sure. Although it does say, and then text is the formatted text. Okay, so I think I have this right. It does say that this is unstable and subject to change, but it's been saying that for a very long time, so I don't know how true any of that actually still is. Like, are they going to break this before release? Because that would be pretty sad. Okay, so then if we go here, okay, we can see that everything has changed, which is good because that means it's working. Also, we can't select the text anymore, which is kind of different, but that's fine. I'm not too worried about it. Okay, so then we change our style from that to hypertext. Potentially. I don't know if that actually will work as such, but we'll give her a shot. All I want to be able to do... Okay, that doesn't work like that. All I want to be able to do is some indentation and some different sizes of the fonts. And that's kind of important because... Okay, so we have... blah, 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 blah. Use with caution. Some tags can enclose text. They start with tag and they end with tag name, and they have attributes. If you want to insert a little greater than less than, backslash it. Oof, that sounds like a bit of work. So where am I putting this stylize in? So I'm doing color instead of text color. Okay. And I'm just doing size instead of font size. Okay, if that works, we will call this good. And then I will proceed on to other bigger and better fishes. Okay, well that still didn't work. Unless, do I have to put this? I'm not sure. I've used hypertext elsewhere. I'll have to look at that to find it. Basically, what I'm trying to do here is we have cost, which will actually just go to a new line. And then instead of this one saying cost, this will be food. And we'll indent it like 4 spaces. And then we'll do the same, but we'll change this one to lumber. And indent it like 4 spaces. And that would be cost with a value from 2 from the table. And then you kind of get where this is going, I think. Lumber, stone, also with the indentation, that's going to be the 3rd value from the table. And then lastly, but definitely not leastly, if leastly is even a word, we have metal, which would be the 4th value from the table. And we'll actually be able to see, although the text isn't rendering as I would like, and it's kind of hard to see because it's so small and it's on a white background, but we see food 1,000, lumber 1,000, stone 1,000, metal 1,000, food 50, stone 100, lumber, metal 0. Wait. Have I done this backwards? I've put this all backwards. I put all the prices in with food instead of lumber. Whoopsies! Yeah, that's a big oof. That's fine. I can change that later and fix it. But that's the plan, and then the cost will be in the larger font size, and then the breakdown for the cost will be at a slightly smaller size with hypertext. But let's get to the tombstones. I don't know where I should define that. It feels kind of excessive to make a new file just for a goblin tombstone, but you know what? We're going to do it, because why not? I will just make a new file. We're just going to call this, if I can find the right spots on my keyboard. The little nubs on the keys are so worn. Goblin tombstones.lua. Tombstone.lua. It only really needs one. Because it's an entity, so we can change things up. You know what? Technically, that's a goblin building, right? I mean, goblins don't live in it, per se. But it's definitely a goblin-related thing. Goblin _ tombstones. Then we need to create an entity. And this will be really easy, actually. It'll be Goblin Tombstone. Well, I'll just be Tombstone. Initial properties, mesh. And it'll just be Kobo Tombstone. Sure, it won't be physical. I don't know if it has to have a collision box. It won't move, so it doesn't need that. The textures, it does need a texture. So that will be Tombstone. On activate, it really doesn't do any of this. The only thing that this needs to do, I could do an on right click. That could be funny. Just like display some random tombstone. What do they call those things? The stuff that they write on a tombstone? Something with an E, isn't it? Epitaph or something? Epiphath? Epiphath? I don't know. It's something or another. I suppose I do really need to do an on step for this. But it doesn't need to have a whole lot to it. It literally just needs to have if self node timer is greater than 600. No, that would be 10 minutes. I think 5 minutes should be sufficient. So that'd be 300 seconds. Then we just want to remove the node or the entity. Self object remove. And then yeah, that should be that. Then we do need to spawn in a tombstone when the goblin dies. So we go down here. On deactivate goblin died, right? Okay. I thought I had one of these where it was printing the location. Yeah, okay. Perfect. So we'll take that. We'll throw it over here as well. And then we want to do spawn an entity in, which I'll have to look at the goblin base because I don't know how to do that. So we'll just do this. We're just adding an entity. I guess we don't really care about any of that other data because we're not going to use it. We'll just call this local tombstone. And then we're adding in a goblin tombstone. Okay, we don't really need a note there, and I don't even need that because the name was pretty simple. And we'll just go ahead and paste that over here. Now I suppose I do actually need to have a tombstone, huh? So for that, we will just open. I wonder where in the world that file is stored. I'm in my mine test folder. You know, this folder should be renamed to Luanti because, you know, things. I may not have those files. Oh, wait. What's this? Gravestones. There we go. Let's open up the blend file. Excellent. So now for the goblins, I mean, we don't need anything super crazy. I'm thinking this, just the normal basic, little bit of a doodad thingamabobby on the top. That's looking pretty good to me. Do I need to change anything with the size? I don't know. I don't know what this UV map looks like. Okay, this was UV mapped to use default textures. Which is probably fine, but we're going to spice it up a little bit. So, this is number 2. Okay. That's really cool. So we are going to append that in, assuming I can remember how to do that. We want to append, right? I believe we want to append. I don't think I want to link it, because linking then doesn't actually let me modify it. Although I believe I can still realize it and make it real, so I can modify it. I don't remember. I suppose I could also have just imported the OBJ, seeing as how I have that sitting around. Okay, so our tombstone is really large, to the point of I would have been better off just creating it from scratch. Also, why in the world does my tombstone have faces on the underside that you will never see? Clearly, I didn't know what I was doing. Also, how am I editing both meshes at once? How did I have both selected? Weird. Okay, so this little square here is the player, which is the same size as, surprise, surprise, a goblin, just a little bit shorter. Shoo, you know what? I think I wasted all that time. And we're actually going to go ahead and duplicate the player and turn this into the tombstone, because fixing that one is just going to take longer than creating from scratch. So we'll make the tombstone about half the height. We'll go 4 high, because why not? Also, somehow this doesn't match up to the grid anymore, which kind of confusing, but whatever. And this is the one I want. Okay. Pull that in a smidge. I have way too much stuff blocking my view here that I don't need to be seeing. There we go. That's looking good. What's going on here? All right. Select all of this. Switch to wireframe so I can see what's going on here. Okay, that already looked like it was in the... Oh, I see. All right, so that is centered now. Let's take this random offset off of this. Yeah, that looks better. It's grid aligned. My small little villager friend, why aren't you grid aligned? Yeah, that's more like it. Let's put you to 0.5. Okay, so the tombstone's as wide as a person. That sounds fine to me. We're going to go edit mode, edge select, put a loop cut in the center, just like so. And then we'll find a side view of it. And we'll grab these two, pull it down. Yeah, I think that's okay. It looks a little wide, maybe. We'll just leave it as such. Actually, then I do want to spice it up a little bit. I want to put a little dirt around it. So, to do that, I'm just going to add in a plane, I suppose. Wow, that's really big. I wanted to scale that to 0.5. That's still really big. We'll just pull it in like so. Now, I don't know which way this is going to place itself, so that could be slightly difficult. But we'll just put it to the front side of the tombstone here. And we'll go 2x3 because that looks good. You know, actually, let's rotate it and put it there. Yeah. And then put it here. That's still small enough that we're within one node space. Oh, definitely. Also, wow, that's quite high in the sky. So let's pop that down here. And let's just pull it up just the smidgest of bits. Just so we don't get Z fighting. There we go. UV editing. Yeah, okay, there's just too much going on here. I can't even see what I'm looking at. Let's delete the tombstone that I copied over, because we're not even using that. Let's take this tombstone. Oh, yeah, it's very nice, very nice. Our normals, I don't really care about seeing normals anymore. Let me turn those off. Where do I shut that off? Don't need to see the normals. I know the normals are correct. There we go. Yeah, okay. So we just need to define where we want to cut the edges on this, which I think we're going to do a little something like that. And then we'll just mark the edges and unwrap. Bada boom, bada bing. That's looking pretty good to me. Then we'll apply it, which we can't because it doesn't have a texture. So I guess we'll go ahead and create one of those. We'll call it Tombstone. Of course we want an image. I should be able to use a pretty low resolution image. So if we go over to turret, I guess. Image, yeah, we can probably go down to like 256, and I think we'll be just fine. And then just apply that. Oh, you know, we can probably go down to 128. We have plenty of space to work with here. Honestly, almost thinking we could go down to 60. No, we couldn't make it 64. Okay, well, that's fine. Closest, so we have nice sharp pixel textures. We're gonna move this over and rotate it -90 so it's right side up. This is our little dirt patch. So we'll throw this someplace else. Because I was talking about texture bleeding the other day. We'll move these so that they can't bleed if the texture blurs. Although I guess I don't know how much blurring anything is using to create the blur. But whatever. Export the UV layout as an SVG just so we can import that in a minute. And we want to save that. You know, actually, I think I'm saving the UV layouts into the game folder. Yeah, that's probably poor practices. But it is what it is. I'm going to go ahead and UV bake this. Wow. We got something weird going on there. What's invisible behind that? Oh, okay. I do like to have it sitting on the ground, though. Let's try there. Oh, yeah, the bake comes out vastly different because there's not a player model messing with the lighting. Cool. Go ahead. That's not what I wanted to click on. I want to go ahead and save this image. No, we don't actually need an inventory snap or anything for this one. And we can just call this Kobo Tombstone _AO because it's my ambience occlusion bake. Go ahead and save that as. Put this over to 0 and 0. Yeah. Export this. I'm going to export it as an OBJ because it doesn't move or anything. So far, everything's been exported as OBJs. Even though technically the player models, not the player models, the villagers, the goblins, they should have texture at some point, but texture, animation. But I don't know if I'm going to have time for that. So they probably won't. That can be a future project. Okay, that's all looking good. So let's hop on over to where I just saved this file and open her up. Open with, we can ignore that. Sweet, sweet, sweet. We have our beautiful AO bake. Gonna go ahead and import my UV mapping so I can see what I'm working with here. Create a new layer with good old multiply. This is gonna be dirt. Oh, but I want an alpha channel in this. Does this already have an alpha? It does. Okay, so I can just take the eraser then. Make that a little bit smaller. A little bit smaller. There we go, to 1. And we can just erase out some of this. Give it kind of a harder edge on there. Something like that and like this. This is a high precision kind of operation here. Only the most delicate of brush strokes. There's no precision required because there's literally no wrong way to do it. I mean, it's just the dirt mound that was left over. All right, so now when I paint that in with this beautiful tan dirt over the alpha, it does nothing. Perfect. Also, I want it to be using a pencil, not a paintbrush. The paintbrush can come later. Somehow I actually got a nice tan dirt. Wow, I didn't even try. All right, then we'll switch to a slightly darker version. This is from the Oh, this is perfect. Yeah, that's great. That looks exactly like a freshly upturned grave. Maybe let's throw one gray stone in just for good measure. Boop, one gray stone. All right, and then the actual tombstone itself. You know, it's a stone, so there's really not much to be said there. It's gray, and there's a dead body under it. So a little something like that. It's too small to actually put any text on it, I think. But let's try. I don't know which side would be the front. So we're just going to go here and do RIP. You know what? It's tight, but it does fit. Sweet. Center that out, please. It is centered. Very nice, very nice. Let's go ahead and save this as. Or export, rather. Export as tombstone. Then we'll have to load this up in Blender and make sure it's actually working as expected. Mainly just that it says rip on the right side. Also, check out the dirt. Which I don't think the... Hey, it's right. Nice. I don't think the alpha channel is being interpreted properly here. But I would have to do extra work to make it interpret properly. And I really don't care that much because it doesn't matter. Because it'll work properly in game. Oh no, we have an error. The tombstone file doesn't exist. Well, I'm looking at the file, so clearly it exists. Oh, because I called it tombstones, but then I called the file tombstone. There we go. Okay. Goblin, oh little goblin. Do you want to come out and play? Oh, he did. Very nice. What a friendly little character. Okay, well, one died and one crashed. Oh, sweet. Attempt to perform arithmetic on field health and no value. I thought we had that issue solved. And this wasn't crashing things anymore. Why is it crashing things again? Could have sworn we fixed it. Now it's the tower doing it. Is it because the goblin's already dead? Line 47. Line 47. Entity health equals entity health minus 1. Or 24. Which, hey, we got a little rip. Beautiful. Beautiful. I don't know if it's actually going to disappear after 5 minutes. Also, that collision box, way too big. So I can fix that really quickly by just copying over the goblin's collision box and making it shorter. Because essentially we kind of just made it the same size. This value is going to be the height. So that's at 0. Which means the selection box is taller than the goblin. That makes a whole lot of sense. So you actually want this to be negative, I don't know, negative 0.25 maybe? I'm not sure if that will update for an existing. It may not. Hey, it did, and wow, did I guess good or what? I got almost exact. It could be offset a little bit. But I could also offset the mesh file. Let's just do that because it's easier to do that. Oh, great. We have some kind of a loop going here in the closing. That's cool. I'll just bump it back to there. Sure, why not? Are we at... No, we're not. Let's change this back to 0 so it's actually at the right position. If I just moved this archery tower, that would solve the problem. There we go, and we're going to re-export this out as an OBJ. It's still trying to shut down. It's caught in some kind of a loop. Also, we did not need materials. Swell. Well, let's see if the terminal tells me anything. No, it really doesn't. It just says something's not cleared. And because of that, it's not working. Cool. Well, I guess I can always just kill it. Doesn't even want to do that. Wow, okay. I mean, that should do the trick. But it doesn't want to. Okay, well, that is all we need. This should be changed to just being commented out. Because again, I don't know what kind of time I'm going to have. It would be funny to put something where you right click on the tombstone and it would just pick some random, text to show in a little form spec. It'd be funny, haha. But it really is 0 on the scale of importance. Okay, this is really bad. It's still not closing. There we go. Had to hard kill it. I don't know. On step, nothing there should have been locking it up. Okay, well, it's not moved quite to where it really should be, but you know what? That's fine. It's close enough for me. Okay, we got another goblin here. He's attacking a tower. He's running away from said tower. He has 25 health. Still has 25 health. I accidentally placed a block. Okay. Don't tell me the crash killed the other towers and now the towers aren't shooting anymore. It's just very possible. This is most annoying. Oh, here we go. Attempt to form arithmetic on field health and nil value. How? How is this a nil value? That was a goblin scout. I mean, it shows his health. He obviously has health. You can't tell me that he doesn't have health. Like, what do you mean, a nil value? It's not nil. It exists. And if it doesn't exist, I make it exist. Is there something wrong with the goblin base not setting the health? Goblin scout entity health equals 25. And the rogue's health equals 40. There's no typo in that. Goblin scouts. This doesn't make sense. On activate, health equals data health. Data health equals self health. If there's not data, I'm even giving it health. Which I don't know if there is necessarily any kind of guarantee that it will have health. I don't understand how this can keep crashing. Which it'll just... Oh, yeah, and the timer's going to be borked on that again. So let's put a new one in. Oh, and now it's locking up again. It gives me this error. Server, active object manager not cleared. I don't know what that means. And I don't know why it says they don't have health. They have health. How can they not have health? Unless it's trying to... What if it's trying to attack me? Because as a player object, I'm an object that this would find. Oh, okay. I don't even know how to search for this. Player object. Does the player object have... I want to make sure the object's not a player. Object and object. Okay, well, I don't want that. No, I don't not interested in that, not interested in that, or that, or that, or that, or this. I want to know, how do I tell if the object is a player or not? Nope, 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 don't care about those. Nope, nope, definitely don't care about that. Nope, not that. Nope, nope. Nope, 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 nope. Set lighting. Yeah, okay, I don't care about any of that. That has nothing to do with objects. Oh, maybe I need to be searching for entity. I feel like there's probably like an is player or something. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so we have all of this and then nothing. Okay, well, let me check for is player. Boolean, whether an object is player. Okay, so let's add that in. Maybe that's what's crashing this. If entity, then... No, actually, I can probably put both of these into one line. If entity and not core is player entity, then... Okay, I'll have to segfault that to kill it. I don't know if it's really... It's sigterm, that's the term, not segfault. Sigterm. Control C in the terminal it's running in. Pretty much tell it, you know, I don't care, just end now or else. Okay, tower is going to be dead again, so we'll place a new tower. Okay, well, oh, and we're stuck in a loop again. Cool. So what's going on here? This doesn't make any sense. I don't even know where it's actually getting caught in the loop because I don't even get an error message. Other than line 47. Attempts from arithmetic on field health. Which means it's clearly getting to line 47. If entity and not core is player entity. I don't understand. A super helpful debug message. Totally recommend useful messages like that. So it tells me exactly what I need to know. Oh, hey. Hi. Hi, I'm dead. Good old brain rot. Okay. Entity owner does not equal owner. We have the owner for the tower. What changed from yesterday to today with these guys that made it suddenly not work? Okay, so these are not working. I'm going to go away. I'm guessing not away fast enough. This is bogus. It prints high, though. So it's getting to that line. Which I knew because we're having errors with the health part. Make sense. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But why doesn't it? Entity health equals entity. I mean, I know it works because we had a Goblin Scout die and he put out a tombstone. So how am I getting entities that don't have health? This doesn't make any sense. But also it would appear as if okay, see, I'm far enough away now. We're printing off a bunch of highs, which is swell. Because that means we're saying it's an entity and not a player. But we're not printing help for some reason. And in fact, I have the what is going on? How are the goblins dying? What? Can I zoom? I can't. It's disabled. I don't know how it's disabled because I don't think I can disable it. Or it must just default to disabled. I mean, you can just barely see them. There's some tombstones out here. Which means I have goblins that have died. But how could the goblins die? This doesn't make any sense. How do I have goblins dying if health doesn't exist? How are goblins dying if this code shouldn't be running? What is going on? I do not understand. It's like it's picking me up. Do I have to call that before I try to get the Lua entity on a... Of course, Boolean rather than object is a player. But it really doesn't tell you anything enough about it to know when to call that. Returns true for players, false otherwise. Okay, and what is this? What is this for? This is an object ref. So am I getting the Lua entity before I'm doing this? We have an is valid. Okay, cool. Get position, set position, add position, velocity, punch, right click, get HP, set HP. Really? Interesting. So I could just be using a built-in HP system? Could I actually be doing that? Or is this for player only? It doesn't say player only. Okay, is player. Returns true for players, false otherwise. So I'm assuming I should be doing the entity and not the object, because the entity is what I'm pulling other data from. But wait, I have entity.object remove. Why would I be doing entity.object? Why am I doing entity.object remove? Okay, I'm confused now. I don't know what my own code's doing. Object underscore remove. Oh, not underscore colon. Calling with object remove. On an active object, we'll call this with removal true. The map block with the entity resides in being loaded, we'll call this with removal false. Okay. But object remove doesn't even... Interesting. So should all of these be entity.object? Maybe that's the issue. Entity.object.owner? Is that what's wrong? Is that why we're always crashing? This is the stuff they don't teach you in school, because they don't teach you how to make video games in school. Okay, well, let's give this a shot. If this is what it ends up being, that's going to be quite... this is the code that's executing. So the tower runs a timer every second, because I figured that was the easiest way to do this. And it just does a search for entities inside of, I guess, objects, entities, whatever, within a 10 node radius. If it finds one, it gets the entity, whatever an entity is, the entity, I guess, and then make sure that the entity is not a player, because I'm not trying to do damage to myself. And then it's supposed to check who the owner is so that my towers aren't killing my workers, because that would be bad. And then we're just trying to decrease the health of whatever it's shooting by 1. And then when the health is 0 or less than 0, in case somehow some kind of weird something happens and it becomes less than 0, we just remove it. And then we add 1 XP to the player, because the player needs XP for things. I don't know what yet. And it still crashes on line 49. Entity object health equals entity object health minus 1. Why? Okay, let's try to do this. We can take that line out, because that line doesn't matter. Okay. See, we have plenty of tombstones out here, which I'm confused about, because it must be killing things. Is this like a race condition? Because there's multiple towers shooting at it? And their timers are somehow offset a little bit or something? That it makes it die? I don't know. So he has a health of 23. Health will never change because we're not subtracting health anymore. And I didn't want to do that. Sorry, dude. He has a health of 25. And if I come over to the terminal, it's never printing high anymore. Which I don't understand, because it should be. Should it not? Should this be object? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. This isn't something I've dealt with before. So I don't have any other code I can look at. Oh, and now we're stuck in a loop where it won't shut down. It shouldn't be doing this. What's going on? Okay, so we changed the check back to if it's a player by... It's still not doing anything. And unfortunately, I don't know if any of these towers... Oh, I hate that keeps... I don't know if any of these towers are running, because it could be crashing when they're supposed to be running. Also, this should never have placed, because they're supposed to check that there's ground below it. So that's kind of weird. Although I may have put that in before I did the placing. And we're stuck in a loop again. Why? What is going on? Maybe try entity as player. Functions receive a Lua entity table as self. But the is player thing... Is player... No, player... That one's definitely expecting the OBJ, the object, to be passed within the parentheses. So that's definitely what it's expecting. However, I could do this. I could do if core is player OBJ, then print found player. And then that would at least tell me if that's finding the player or if it's finding a different entity. And if we're in fact not finding the player, well, then we know we need to change something. Also, I don't know if any of these timers are actually running at this point. And I don't know if these tombstones are ever going to go away. Okay, it found a player. It said hi. It says help. And it's throwing the same error. It's not even doing anything anymore. I don't get it. I think I need to attempt to compare nil with number in line 53. 53, we're checking the health. Okay, I'm getting rid of this object because... But somehow it works on the remove, which I don't understand. Okay, so it found a player. So we do want to be checking player against OBJ. So that's good, I think. If entity and not core is player. So if player is false, yeah. So that's good. Close that out, launcher back up. Throw it onto the right window. I don't know why it keeps popping up on the window I don't want it on. Okay. Probably no timers running on any of these towers. No. Exact same problem. Attempt to compare nil with number. But it's a number. Like, I can tell you it's a number because I can pull up object health right here. And it exists. And I'm passing an OBJ to it, which, what's the OBJ? Let's see. When we right click, just have to scroll for a while here. On right click, we're passing self. Which self would be entity, would it not? I don't. Well, okay, here, let's do this. Print dump entity. And we'll see what that says it is. Maybe that'll give us, maybe it'll shed some light on the situation. It'll also crash again. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and comment out all of those lines. Oh, I have to also comment out the end, I suppose. Okay, so now it won't crash. Okay, and we have... Okay, I'm confused. So some of these goblins have stuff. I don't know a better way of putting it, and some don't. I have one that has a path because he's traveling to something. Last job, a home, a state, a step, an inventory, a node timer, a health, and then still object equals user data. But then there's other ones that are just a node timer and an object. They literally don't have a health. But they're all spawning in the exact same way. So how would any not have health? This makes no sense. How do some... Oh, wait a second. What about... Nope, because in a wave they're only doing the rogue goblins. The only way these things exist is from this timer right here. Which I'm kind of surprised is still even running. With all the crashes. You would think it would have stopped working just like all the towers. Did you find the variable entity owner? No, the entity owner... Wait, it's not even supposed to say entity owner, is it? It's supposed to be... Oh. No, there should be a dot in there. I think I accidentally removed that when I was deleting the entity.object. Because the owner is nothing, which is why I'm checking if entity owner does not equal owner, and owner is being pulled from the tower, which is the player's name that placed the tower. Because when you make a forager or a lumberjack, they, in the, whatever you want to call it, the entity data, they store who the owner is, so which player created them. That way, if you're on a server, which isn't meant for servers, but it ever becomes that, I'm kind of future-proofing the work so that you could have two warring factions along with the goblins. It does also mean you couldn't be allies with anyone, but who needs allies against goblins? Again, it's not being designed for multiplayer. It's just maybe someday it'll become that. Okay, so these guys should all just be running around at 25 health. Because nothing's taking their health away. This one has 23 health. Which is peculiar. It must be hanging out from before a crash or something. So what if I punch one? It's down to 21 health. 18 health. Okay, so that's really weird. Because clearly that's working when I punch it myself. So what am I doing when I punch it? That's in a callback. Oh, and it's stuck in a loop again. How? Is there something wrong with my loop here that's making it get stuck? I don't get it. I'm gonna have to cheat here. If I even can. Where do I want to look? I think I want to look here and here. No, that's not what I want. And I can't imagine this is what I want. Yeah, no, that's definitely not it. I know of another mod that does this. I just need to remember what it was called. And adonde vas? That means where it is. This maybe? I don't think this. Yeah. No, that doesn't look like it. Could be this one. Okay, here we go. Find entities. Entities inside of object. Okay. So comparing this code to mine, I do for objects. That's doing it different than what I'm doing. But I don't think it's really any different. Local entity, object, get Lua entity. Yep. Then we're just checking what the entity is, which I don't see why I would care about that. Although okay, that does not look like it's doing the same thing that I'm trying to do. So I definitely did not remember correctly what it's doing. Is entity owner string? Entity owner will be nothing. So I can do local. Well, I can't do local owner because that already exists. Local ent underscore own equals entity dot owner. Or actually, I don't even need to do any of that. I can just call this as a print right out. Print entity owner. Although you can't see the terminal. But if I run this, and assuming that will print before the game crashes. Oh wait, yeah, the game actually doesn't crash until I try to close, and then it just hangs up. I'm getting hi from here. Then the entity owner is nil. And then we're getting this hilp, because I still haven't fixed that. So entity owner is nil, which it should be because it's a goblin. But if I were to... I'd have to break all that stuff, and I really can't. I've got the woodcutters right here, which theoretically this tower should be picking up, but might not be. So I'll put a new one in. And that one, yep, it's popping up now, returning single player. So it's not shooting at them because they're mine. So entity owner does exist, but we get caught up in this, and I can't exit and get in get any sort of an error. Oh, you know what though? Let me look at the debug. Wonder if anything's printing out to that. It's probably, oh, it's only 6 megabytes. That's not too bad. I was expecting it to be like 40 megabytes or something. I was like, oh, great. Well, that's completely useless, because it just tells me the exact same thing. Server active object manager not cleared. What does that even mean? I don't know. And is there something wrong with, I mean, obviously there's something wrong with this code, but I don't know what. The objects should only be entities. The only entities there should be are, oh, the tombstones are entities. The tombstones don't have health. Oh, that's probably what's wrecking everything. All this time wasted because it's the stupid tombstones. I don't know why it's hanging. That bit doesn't make sense. But it's the tombstones. So can I get... Do entities even store a name? Like, is there a way I can get... an entity name? There's got to be some way to get the name of an entity. I bet that's what the problem is. Registered entities. I don't care about those. I just want to know what the entity's name is. Blah, blah, blah. We can do all this. We can get a Lua entity. Get a Lua entity. Okay, get Lua entity dot name. Okay, so if entity and not player. And I guess we're going to throw in another and not. Get Lua entity dot name. So I think I'm actually doing entity dot name equals Kobo tombstone. Man, if this fixes it, well, I will be happy that it's fixed. But also, an hour wasted. I don't know if it was an hour, but all that time wasted trying to figure out why this doesn't work. And that would be all of the, oh, it was so obvious in front of my face the whole time. The stuff that's returning the no timer and the object of user data table with no information in it, that's the tombstones. That's literally why, oh, I feel like such a dum-dum. Okay, I might need to put some new towers in to actually do things. Take out the goblins. Oh, he's got 13 health. This tower's not attacking him. That was the problem. That was the problem. It was trying to take health away from tombstones, and the tombstones don't have health. Man, what an absolute waste of my time. Also, I am confused why these guys claim they have 10 health when they don't. Like, what is this? An armor? They don't have armor. What is this? Where does this information come from? How do I change it? It's generic CAO HP 10. Yeah, you don't have 10 HP, bud. You got 25. Is this some built-in system? Oh, it still crashes though on close. So what is happening here that's causing the error? Thomas, good night. Good night, my friend. I don't know what active object manager means. Let's try to do a Yo, Google search on that one. See if anything comes up. Okay. Well, there's an issue that calls that out, but I don't know if that actually means anything. Blah, blah, blah. Yep, okay. Okay, well that doesn't tell me anything. That tells me even less. That's something about like the C code behind it. It's not cleared. Is there some other way I should be doing this instead of objects inside radius? Which is funny though, actually, because now that I think of it, that's literally what they said to do in the API. Okay, so we have core, here we go, objects inside radius, center, and radius. Returns an iterator of valid objects. Example, for obj in core, objects inside core, center, radius, do obj punch, ... end. So that's literally how they're telling you to call it out. So why is it hanging? And what's hanging it? Timer start runs on the timer, so that shouldn't be anything there. We're making sure it's not a player or a tombstone, which that's not the best way of doing it. Because then with every new entity I add that I don't want this thing shooting at, I have to add another check into that, which is kind of bogus. So I'll have to see if there's not a better way of doing that. I'm adding resources to the owner. Nothing here looks like it should be making this hang in a loop. But something must be. Oh, I don't even know what to try. Like, just subtract 1 from the health. That'll put things into negative health. He's got 25 health. Still has 25 health. He's moving too fast. He has 25 health. He has 25 health. 25 health. I surely make it so you can punch the tombstones and make them go away. Okay, this thing has 23. At some point it should go down to, you know, something lower than 23. But it's not, so whatever. We'll put another tower out. I kind of have unlimited free towers. Oh, wait a second. I'm still trying to do this entity object health thing. Let's take that out. Okay, let's find the tombstone file. I just want to make it so I can punch the tombstone and break it. That's all. Because, you know, it could be annoying. It doesn't really do anything. It's not a physical object, so it's not going to affect pathfinding. Nothing's going to bump into it. But I do feel like it could be a distraction, so we'll just make it so you can punch it and remove it. Because we want to be able to do that. Okay, so let's give her another shot. Health's 23. This guy's health's 13. Still 13. See if I can... Yep, okay, so I can remove some tombstones. So we can definitely tell the tombstones have... the goblins have been dying, rather. I suppose I could make it so you get 1 stone for every tombstone you remove. But, nah. Because that would just be too much work. How much health do you have, bud? At some point, some of these have to go into negative. Oh, the tombstones are doing fine. It's the other things. Like, now for some reason the goblins aren't losing health. And that tower, like, lost its light. That doesn't make any sense. Goblin health's 23. How? How is your health still 23, bud? What is... I don't understand. What is going on here? No, you goblins should be dying. You should be losing health. Why is the screen black? That's a good question. Why is the screen black? Okay, that's weird. It was working previously. There. And we're stuck in a loop again. I don't understand. What is causing this loop? Oh, okay, let's see. Does this pull it back up? It does. Okay. So I don't know what happened. Oh, we got some rogue goblins out here. With some old position data showing. Oh wait, this one had 13 health. But it's still at 13. 21. Actually, their health shouldn't be going down at all now because I took that out. No, what is... How? I don't get it. What... It literally says use a loop like this. And, using a loop like that is pretty much breaking the engine where you can't close the game. Okay, well now nothing's going to happen because it's literally just pulling up the entity on each one of these. So he's not going to lose any health ever. Are you kidding me? What is going on? Now there's literally just a loop that doesn't even do anything. Imagine a game you can't close. Yeah, well, that's kind of what this is becoming. Okay, so we're not doing anything. Are you kidding me? Okay, we're just going to take out the entirety of that code. Because if this still doesn't work, then there's some kind of serious issues. Okay, there's some kind of serious issues. Because I'm not even doing anything with that. Literally, I'm not touching that. So what is happening? What is going on here? Okay, well, the most recent thing since that was tombstones. So let's get rid of the tombstones by commenting out the loading of that file. And if it works, then That means there's some... Oh, I'm going to have a bunch of unknown objects. I didn't realize there was this many tombstones. Okay, well that's fine. Okay, so something is wrong with the tombstones? There's not a whole lot to the tombstones. There's literally an entity and a timer and an option so you can punch it and it goes away. What else could it want? Do I need to have a on activate? I guess it does have a node timer. So potentially, is that what the issue is? Because if that's the issue, it's pretty messed up. Yeah. Okay, we don't care about any of that. This thing's not meant to move. Okay, so then does that mean I also need to do a get static data? I don't even know what that function means or does. I actually wanted to put it here. Nope, didn't want a backtick. The only one we care about is the node timer. I don't know if we even care about that. Let's see. Are you serious right now? Oh, I wonder if I have to put these before the on step. I don't know why you would have to, but visual, mesh, size, collision box, texture, on activate. The only thing it has is a node timer. Who would think that adding in a tombstone would be so difficult? The entities that actually do stuff were easier than this. Dog of War Thunder, War of Thunder, Dog of War. You're back. Welcome. Just trying to make this whole stupid tombstone thing work. Hey, we got the tombstones back, boys. What is going on here? So it's literally has to be a problem with the tombstones. I think. Because if I get rid of the tombstones, there's no issues. This makes no sense. The towers, which I don't know why I opened in that file when it was already open here, is literally not even doing anything with objects anymore. Nothing going on with objects. So it's got to be the tombstone. What is the tombstone doing that's breaking the game? This does not make sense. Register entity, initial properties. The error just says server active object manager : squiggly active object manager close or open and close parenthesis : not cleared. But if I get rid of the tombstones, by just commenting that file out so it doesn't load in, and then just kill and relaunch, and now you can clearly see all of the tombstones are not loaded because they're just unknown objects. And when I exit, the game exits just fine. So it's something with the tombstones that's keeping the game from closing. But there's like nothing to the tombstone. I mean, we have a collision, we have textures, we have a size, we have a mesh, we have an onActivate. The data literally just is self node timer equals data node timer. I wonder if... Do I need to set the node timer to 0 when this is spawned in? That's possible. I would have to... That's under the... Yeah, because multiple things could kill the goblins. Okay, so maybe the tombstone needs to have data set on it. So if I go here, I can do a local tombstone entity equals tombstone get Lua entity, and then dot node timer equals 0. But I don't think that's the case, because when I spawn in these guys, their node timer doesn't exist. Okay, yeah, so the goblin, I'm looking at the rogue goblin here. Node timer, on activate, if data, and if it doesn't have data, again, no node timer is being set anywhere. Oh, but I do have that. No, but I have that here too. Self node timer equals self node timer or 0. So if self node timer doesn't exist, it's set to 0. And if the node timer is greater than 300, we remove it. We're just counting up. Okay, well, let me turn the tombstones off so we can come in and clear objects. And that kills the game too now? What? But they're not even... This is bizarre. Okay, well now, it didn't even clear the objects. So I have to go through manually kill them all? Are you kidding me? You can't clear a handful of objects because they're unknown? What kind of bogus is this? Did he kill my log cutters? No, they're still there. I got goblins still sitting around. I think I may accidentally be clicking on a goblin under that. Yeah, probably. Although we have some stuck goblins, so we should be able to see how the goblin code works for when they stop moving. We should see, oh hey, in 10 seconds or whatever, they'll just take on a random direction. No, they still think they're traveling. Which must mean that they still have steps to take and they're just blocked and they can't. At some point, they'll stop thinking they're traveling because they'll run out of steps. Okay. So that's finally all of the tombstones out of here. Oh wait, no. So now let me try clear objects. Okay. Could that be because we're doing an on activate, trying to add an entity, and these entities don't exist? All this just to have some tombstones. Feels like an awful lot of work. Are tombstones really worth it? Except now, you know, the whole sunken cost fallacy thing where I kind of have to. Because I already spent too much time trying to do it. Okay, well, we cleared the objects and we didn't crash the game, so that's good. And we exited without crashing. Good. Let's re-enable the tombstones. We won't place any. Just see. Okay, so we have nothing still. Okay. Exited. It felt like it maybe took a teensy bit longer than maybe should have. Okay, so now spawn. I can't technically place a tombstone because they're entities. I don't know where that guy went. He kind of just vanished. Disappeared inside of a block, I think. Is it getting killed that quickly? That's possible. Okay, so that's the Goblin Rogue. So we have good old Tombstone. Should add in from the Rogue. Okay, we got a Rogue Goblin here. He's dead. I see the little Tombstone. I can enable no, and in fact, I actually have no clip enabled. Right, there we go. Little tiny Tombstone. You just by default are this high in the air. That's your eye height, like 4.5 nodes. Okay, so we have a Tombstone. Okay, that's promising. Let's go back to the towers. And let's... essentially, yeah, that's how I'm cheating the game. Towers line 56 is trying to get something that's not a thing. Oh. That line wasn't meant to be uncommented. That should still be commented out because we're not actually punching things. Okay. So let's go ahead and spawn in another rogue. He's going inside of the building. Oh, there he is. What you gonna do, buddy? He has 40 health still. Which leads me to believe that the towers aren't shooting at him. Which I don't know why they wouldn't be. You're tall in the game because it's a real-time strategy tower defense hybrid. So you're just tall because, you know, every square I'm pointing at here is one node. So, you know, that would be expected to be one piece of wood, not a whole building and 4 of them. Or a whole tower in one of them. Okay, we have a normal goblin. 25 health. 25 health. Still 25 health. Still traveling, but stuck. Okay, unstuck, but no, stuck again. I think he's trying to get there, but he's hitting this block. Not very smart of him. So we're just not... Okay, and now we got a STD system error. I don't know what any of that means. And it literally killed the entire game. We seem to be having some pretty big issues here. Also, something died at the base of this tower because there's a tombstone now. But these guys are still at full health. And we go into a loop. Why? What is going on? This doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. Is there a yeah, pretty serious bug? Da, 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 da. Because, I mean, I am using... no. I am using dev build. I don't see any open issues saying anything about this. Which leads me to believe that this is only affecting me. Which, isn't good. Because I can't really do anything if it keeps crashing. But I don't know what is doing it. So... no, I don't know. It's probably my code that's at fault. So let's go ahead and do this. Do print entity name. And while I'm at it, let's go ahead and print entity health too. We'll just print all the entity objects I'm trying to pull. One of these must not exist, right? Because otherwise what would be causing the error? And let's go ahead and print entity owner. Because it's not till I try to, attempt to attempt to index local entity in nil value in line 45. Oh, yeah, I suppose I should do that after the if entity. What if I just do it like this? Of course, then this is going to crash for everything that's health related. Whatever. Attempt to perform arithmetic on field health and no value. Yeah, it's because you're trying to get the... oh, but I should have... so I have a tombstone. Health on the tombstone is nil. No surprise. And the owner on the tombstone is nil. Also no surprise because neither of those were set. It's the time thing. I thought Ruben retired. No. I don't think you can technically retire from a volunteer position. Okay, is it something with entity remove? I don't see that it could be though, because we're removing them and placing tombstones. All right, but let's just go ahead and place this here now. So this should be getting non-players and non-tombstones. So theoretically, they should all be reporting health now. I could give the tombstones health, but that's putting a band-aid on a cut. It's not actually fixing the problem. Okay. Health is 40. Okay. Now I'm just getting nothing. Health is 25. So somehow one of these criteria doesn't exist? What? Okay, well, I guess the next thing to try is, instead of putting this all in one line, split it up. So if entity Then if not core is player obj, then if not entity name. So basically we're just putting a bunch more steps in so we can check each step. So then we just do print valid entity. And then we do print not a player. And then, well, this will print all this stuff off. So, and I have an error someplace. Oh, this all needs to be indented. Yep. Okay. Try her again. All right, so valid entity, not a player. Valid entity, not a player. But it's not getting past that, which means it's all finding tombstones. Which also means it's not finding the goblins? The tombstone is an entity. It's supposed to end after 5 minutes. Although maybe I should change that to a lot shorter just to test it. Okay, yeah, let's just make it so after 10 seconds. Just see what happens. Oh, and now it had a core dump, but at least I didn't have to manually kill it. So that's progress? Question mark? Okay, so we have a rip here, which I'll have to manually remove because I don't think that... Well, it is over 10, so it should have theoretically. I don't know if these towers just aren't running. I mean, there's enough of them that one of them should be doing something. Oh, here we go. We have some. Valid entity, not a player. But nothing beyond that? Is there a tombstone out here someplace that I don't see? I don't see one. Unless there's one inside of here. There's a possibility. Because the goblins can get inside of there. Oh, hey, he just destroyed my tower. Nice work, goblin. I'm going to have to say there's not a tombstone inside of that. Is there a tombstone inside of the node? Nope. I'm not seeing any tombstones around here. So then what's going on? Valid entity, not a player. Yeah. Why is it not running anything past this check? Let me do this. Print not a player. Print entity name. What is the name? Oh, I could have just copied it from there. Whatever. Is entity name not a valid way of getting the name? Because that's what the API told me to do. Okay, it is finding a buttload of tombstones. Oh. Where are they? I ain't seeing any. Okay, but it is finding rogue goblins and scouts. So then what's the issue? Why doesn't it ever print these lines? It'll print the entity name, but it won't do anything past this line. Okay, well, let's do if entity name does not equal instead of not equals, which theoretically should be the exact same thing. Is the tombstone... That's a good question. I think I had that loading back in. Yeah, tombstone's loading back in. So, should be no issue there. Okay, it's gonna hang. Fun. Fun, fun, fun. Fun, 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 fun. Potentially it'll seg fault, but if I just kill it before it has a chance to, it can't. Oh, great. Now I just get a gray screen. Attempt to perform arithmetic on field health on line 55. What is... How? This doesn't make any sense. Okay, so I have, reading the output from the terminal, valid entity, not a player. Yep, that sounds good. Then it printed the entity name, which is Goblin Scout. Okay, good, good. It didn't match this, so it printed the entity name again of Goblin Scout. Then it printed the health at 25. And then it printed nil for the owner because there's no owner. So that's all right. But then I'm getting... Do I have a misspelling in here? Goblin Tombstone, Goblin Tombstone. Oh. I'm just a little retarded. It's Goblin Tombstone, not Tombstone. I bet it works now. Or not. Well, now what's wrong? This doesn't make any sense. What is this hanging on? I don't get it. And the error message is absolutely useless. Like, it literally doesn't mean anything. Okay, let's try to call clear objects and see if that kills everything, as it has in the past. Okay, clear objects worked, but it didn't remove the tombstone. Well, that's weird. Oh, but the tombstone did just disappear. Which means either the tombstone is disappearing after the 10 seconds or clear objects just took a little time to do it. And now it closes. Okay, so let's put this to 60 seconds. Tombstone will exist for a minute. Spawn in a rogue goblin. Only reason I'm doing the rogue goblin is because there's a button to do that one, and there's not a button to do the scout. Still has 40 health. Where's my tower that shooting at him? I don't know. I bet a bunch of these are not working at all. I really just need to... I'm going to do this because I'm getting sick and tired of these towers not doing their job. Towers. I'm going to add an on right click. Equals function. Position. And evidently I have it open on both sides. Because you need to do that sometimes. I don't understand why it even lets you do that. Like, I guess maybe you could be scrolled to different positions in the same file. I guess you can. Okay, so I have a couple goblins out here now and nothing's happening. And we get a terminate called after throwing an instance of std : system _ error. What? Invalid argument. Aborted. Core dumped. Literally means nothing to me. Let me take a peek at the debug. I'm sure it says the exact same thing, which means nothing. Blah, 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 blah. Looks like there's a undefined global variable in lines 13 and 14 of walls. You mean 14 and 15? Undeclared global variable wall box. Oh no, in towers. Oh, that should be tower box. Not that that would be making any difference to any of the code that's crashing, but at least fix that. Couldn't load textures. Yeah, okay, we know that. Static object list remove. ID equals 8 could not be found. I don't know what that means. Yeah, and then just an error that tells me literally nothing. Thanks. So helpful. Okay, we have a tombstone. Cool. We have some goblins. I'm gonna write. I guess that's the shape of the tower. Handy. I basically just wanted this so I can ensure the timers are running on these. Because now these timers will all execute after 1 second. So I will have a bunch of timers running, which is fine. And, we get a crash for something. We have health at negative 156. Health at negative 157. Oh. Well, I am not calling the remove, so that could be problematic. Yeah, okay, well, I don't know. I'm not understanding what's happening here. And now it just crashes again. Time to call method remove. A nil value. Well, I never had that show before. Self object remove. Okay. So do I need to do entity dot object remove? I do feel like I did have this one as entity object previously. And everything else was just entity and then itself. So that's a possibility. I don't know why that would be making anything crash. Finding a bunch of tombstones. Which it's really not finding a bunch of tombstones. It's just because there's a bunch of towers that are all looking for things, all very close to each other. Rogue Goblin, my friend, please get out of the building. I want to see when you perish. Perished. Spawned a tombstone. I'm not going to wait a whole minute to see if that disappears. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Let me spawn one and try to exit when he's alive. Oh, you're running around? Let me quit. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Because this is bogus. Let's try a different game that I know works. And see if it gives me the exact same error. Because if it's giving me the same error, that means it's an engine problem. This is taking really long to load. Wow. Okay, here we go. All right, so I don't know. Just give me some kind of an animal. I've got, what is this? Penguin? Sure, give me 99 penguins. I don't care. Hey, penguins, I just need you to do a little testing for me, okay? So you're all just here chilling, right? What happens if we exit? No! No! Why does that work and this doesn't? And it's still got to be the tombstones. This is getting really annoying. Okay, we have some unknown objects. Oh, I just crashed the server. Ooh, whoo, whoo. Just punching a tombstone. I'm about ready to just rip this whole tombstone thing out. The tombstone file is not even loading. How is that killing stuff? Am I just doing something wrong with the tombstone? It's an entity. It shouldn't do anything. It's not physical. If it has data. We We don't care about any of this other stuff. Register entity, Goblin Tombstone, initial properties, visual, mesh. Here's the mesh, here's the size. It has textures, it has a collision box. On activate function self, blah, blah, blah. That all looks the exact same as this. I don't even think I should need to call out anything with the node timer. We have a get static data, function of self, local data equals an empty table. There really should be a space between there. I mean, it doesn't have to, but I prefer to have a space between there because it looks nicer. Data node timer equals self dot node timer. It's literally the exact same thing I have here. Return core serialized data. End. We have an on step. We're just adding to the node timer. Once the node timer is bigger than 60, we're just removing ourselves. I don't understand. If we punch it, we're removing it. There's nothing here that looks on deactivate. That's just to put the tombstone in. What about this is wrong? Because I don't see anything that looks wrong. We can punch it and it removes, so we know that's right. Technically, I don't need this because we're not doing anything with moving, but that shouldn't be hurting anything. Do I need it to say physical and just be false? I wouldn't see that that would be the case, because it should just default to that, I believe. Okay, so that would just mean that you can walk through it, which I have a step height of 1. I don't even know how I would tell if I'm stepping over this. Yeah, it's so tiny that I don't even think I could step on it if I wanted to. It's so small. Is that really the issue? What? What? Let me look this up here. Okay. I don't care about particles. I want to see entities. Object properties, part of an entity definition. These properties are not persistent but are applied automatically to the corresponding blue entity using player properties saved manually. HP max. Oh, hey. So, can I just set the HP directly instead of doing the kind of hacky method I'm using? I don't see that. I mean, there's got to be some way to do health outside of the way I'm doing it, but whatever. Okay, entity definition. It's the object's property section, which is a section directly above it. Oh, HP max defines the maximum and default HP of the object. Interesting. For Lua entities, the default is set to 10. So I could change that. Interesting. So I could change, I would just add in HP underscore max equals and 40. So then I guess the goblin would say he has 40 health instead of 10. It still doesn't update, but that'd be cool. The tombstones have disappeared. So that's good. Just give me a bunch of rogue goblins. Yeah, just a whole mess of them. They're getting taken out pretty quickly here. And these 3 are attacking a tower. And I believe one of them may have been... Nope, he's still... Where is this guy? Where are these guys going? You going after these towers? I'll make sure they're functioning. so as to take you out. Something took him out. Something took him out. Maybe 10 nodes is too far. I had forgotten how far 10 nodes is. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's probably a tad excessive. Oh, good. And now the game doesn't exit. Swell. That's my favorite thing in the world. We're going to drop this down to 5 because 10 is... That's a lot of reach for a low-level tower. Okay, well, I have no idea. Clearly, it's not this. I don't know what it could be. This doesn't make any sense. I'm going to hope it was just accidentally something in the engine. No, but no, I know it's not in the engine because the other mod works. Or the other game works. So it's got to be something with this. I just don't understand what. Is it something with how I'm putting the tombstones in? Well, I already took that out. Is it because there's an on deactivate that just has nothing in it? Because that would be pretty bogus. On deactivate. Let's just do this. That was all wrong. I meant to do this. And we'll put these here. So now the tombstone file is still being loaded, but the tombstones should never spawn in. Okay, so we have some goblins here. Tombstones that still exist. We'll just wait till some of these goblins, go bye-bye. 18 health, 13 health, 6 health. Okay. Goblins are all dead. Okay. So is it an issue with the on deactivate? Okay, the tombstones are going away. On deactivate is causing the issue? It would appear? What? What are you supposed to use on deactivate for if not to do things when they die? On deactivate. On deactivate. Call when the object is about to get removed or unloaded. Removal is a boolean indicating whether the object is about to get removed. Calling object remove on an active object will call this with removal true. The map block the entity resides in being unloaded will call this with false. Okay, so this doesn't make any sense. So because I'm unloading the map block when I close, but then that would make this useless as a if removal equals, or actually I guess I could just do if removal. Okay. Calling with object remove on an active object, we'll call this with removal true. So then we just do this. Okay. Huh? What? Why is that even a thing? That seems pretty stupid. So how would you... So it would call false when you're exiting the game, or removal would be false. or when you're leaving the map block. Okay, well, let's try this. So I have a bunch of goblins here. They're going to end up dying, but that's fine. I'm going to go fast mode. Not that I'm printing any of that information out, so it doesn't really help me. And I don't know how far away I need to be for that to be unloaded. Probably far. Ooh, I got to get going. Yeah, I can't tell if they're still moving or not. I don't know. Attempt to index local resources. In tower line 63. What? It's trying to give me, I'm really confused. What is going on here? Okay, valid entity, not a player, but it was Tombstone. Not a player. Right. Entity name Tombstone. And then it closes. It has an issue finding resources. Well, you're pulling owner here. And I'm not redefining owner anywhere else. And this owner would have worked in order to call this. Attempt to index local resources and no value. Line 63. Well, it can't be because it literally exists right here. And I have it right here. Look at all my XP. 1927. Pretty nice. Okay, I don't know. It's probably not even worth pushing this, but you know what? I will. Play at your own risk. Chances are it's just going to crash on you. Because I seem to have accomplished nothing today. Which is really fun. Really fun. So that makes for a super good changelog of added tomb stones for goblins when they die. Added an odd bug that randomly kills the game. Don't know how or where. Very good changelog. I'll just use a change or a comment message of added tombstones. If I knew how to spell tombstones. Oh, Green Zenith, my favorite. Yeah, it's a great feature, isn't it? It's so good. You know, you think you get something fixed and then it decides that resources doesn't exist anymore. Which I know it does because it's still showing in the HUD and it's pulling it from the exact same resources. So I am just really confused on that one. Also, that one never gave me an issue previously, so I don't get how suddenly this doesn't exist when resources exist. And I know owner exists because we compared with this. And I don't know. Whatever. I'm over it. I have to get ready to go out, so that's gonna be it. Is what it is. I suppose I should have removed those before I pushed the comment or pushed the changes, but whatever. Don't matter too much. Okay, well, yeah. Thanks for coming along for the insane ride of about that much accomplished in about, can you see my hands? About that much accomplished in about this much time. I feel like I accomplished so much. I accomplished nothing. This was a waste. Absolute waste. But now we have cute little tombstones. So there's that. That's the condolence package. There's tombstones that sometimes just completely break the game. I don't know what to tell you. Thanks for hanging out. And probably do it again tomorrow. Because, why not?